Hey, welcome to Live and in Person on YouTube. My name is Scott Smith, and I am the lead dev and founder of HEROS Token. And tonight we have a special broadcast with McFly's NFT, and I'm going to bring the team in now. So welcome Jessica, Justin, and Ricky. Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. So yeah, man, I've been in a couple of your spaces on Twitter. I love them. I think you guys are doing a fantastic thing in Web3, and I can't wait to share what you're doing here with our community. So why don't we start with just introductions? We'll go around the room and introduce yourself, who you are, how you got into Web3 and the crypto NFTs, that sort of thing. So Jessica, why don't you go first? You're up right in center.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm the artist for McFly's, and I have been in the Web3 space for 2 to 3 years now. This is my first NFT project, and I met Justin and Ross, I think it was last spring around March, almost a year ago now. And it was a little bit, we love the word serendipitous because that just seems to always perfectly describe our circumstances and just things we talk about and conversations, and met them through a mutual friend of Ross and I, who had seen some artwork I had done that was sort of a pitch for another NFT project that never went off the ground. And at the time I had recently lost a brother to Parkinson's. He died last January, and I was sharing with this friend, about his story, and he happened to see this art, and he was like, you really need to talk to my buddy Ross, because I think he's been interested in trying to make an NFT project, but you guys would probably really hit it off. And then Ross, well, he'll tell you how he met Justin, but I met Justin through Ross. And it was like a 1 to 2 day period, and we all just hit it off. I think we had our concept together, kind of a direction in the art and the project itself within 48 hours or something.
Wow.
And we're having a blast with it. We had so much fun coming up with the ideas, our character, the outfits, the nostalgia, everything relating to Back to the Future. Because I think, as most people know, Michael J. Fox, the lead star in those movies, he was one of the big proponents to getting Parkinson's kind of in the forefront, and is continuing to this day. I think he recently came back into the spotlight, reconnecting with Christopher Lloyd and doing some Comic-Cons and really opening up over the years about his story with Parkinson's. And we thought, what better launching point for our project. So
awesome. Ross, how about you? You had a pretty awesome introduction there.
Yeah, bang up job, Jess. You did excellent.
Yeah. So tell us. Go ahead.
My name's Ross. I go by Ricky Ross. Just kind of like a pseudo thing, but I first got into the space, wanting to say around spring of 2021. And, I kind of started into crypto, and then just kind of slowly went into NFTs, probably around August of 2021. Yeah. Just kind of started with some projects, and didn't really have much luck on any of them, but throughout the time I started thinking about what we could do in this space better than the other projects. And part of the reason we wanted to start a charity initiative in the Web3 space is because we've seen so much value coming through these projects, whether they were rug pull projects or legitimate projects. We just seen the value there. And with the crowdsourced nature of NFTs with community, and, we really felt that this would be the right direction to go in. And with McFly's, just like Jess said, with the serendipitous nature of it all, we connected McFly's or Marty McFly with Parkinson's disease through Michael J. Fox. And, it kind of all came together whenever Justin minted a Funky Fly. And, that was kind of the light bulb that turned everything on. And, we just all had some sort of connection to neurodegenerative diseases, being connected to them through our families in some form. And we just knew that the direction we wanted to go whenever, those chain of events happened. And through it all, I met Justin through a one of those giveaway Twitter posts where people post their ETH wallet, and it shows like 500 ETH in it or something, and they say, first one to get this or something like that. And we're like, does anybody ever really get anything from these? And that's kind of how me and Justin connected. And, we both started talking to each other and, realized how like-minded we were, in the sense that, we really wanted to do something that could, make the Web3 space have a better look, than it currently had, for, the fraudulent nature of some of the projects. And, we really wanted to bring a good name to the Web3 community. And that's kind of how that kind of got started there.
Nice. And Justin, please introduce yourself. I love the TV in the background.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how to get the logo on there. That was a little bit tricky, but and that's all Jess's amazing artwork ability with the beautiful colors and the way it like kind of stretches. It's amazing. Yeah. Her logo designs, her ability to design. She didn't mention it, but yeah, she's an amazing tattoo artist as well. So yeah, check her out there as well. But
nice.
Yeah, a little bit about my background. I'm a biochemist by training. So my ties to Parkinson's and neurodegenerative diseases a little bit more academic in that sense. But yeah, as Ross mentioned and sort of alluded to, like how we met in our relationship. For me, I got started in Web3 over a year ago now. It's crazy to think that I hit that 1 year mark, but yeah, it's been over a year, just January of last year. And it was one of those things where like the stock market was kind of starting to tank, and I was looking at, new ways how to reinvest my money and things like that. But I really had no idea like the sense of community that I would find just within Web3 and Twitter, NFT world, especially. And it was, Jess alluded to it earlier, very serendipitous how all three of us met. But even just beyond the three of us, we're all tied to different communities, and also within our McFly's NFT collection, we have a very strong knit community. It's a smaller community, but very strong, very tight. And so, fast forwarding maybe to like February, March of last year, Ross and I were kind of brainstorming different ideas for how we could, help out the community and things like that. And it was that, that the Funky Flies trait of the Back to the Future shoe, which is one of the traits that I had minted at the time. And it's somehow I knew, and I hadn't met Jess at that time, but somehow I knew I wanted to take that idea and use that for, some sort of charity or in Parkinson's research, right? For those that don't know, it's a chronic progressive disorder of the nervous system. It's, while the cause isn't necessarily known, but there's a lot of speculation that it's through the loss of dopamine produced in the brain cells. And so we do know that it leads to a decrease in dopamine levels. And so, some of the symptoms with it are tremors, shaking, usually in the hands and legs, et cetera, and stiffness and rigidity. Very debilitating disease. It's not necessarily a deadly disease, but severe, just, a lot of loss of function and your normal everyday ability to do things. Yeah. And so, obviously with that Back to the Future shoe, and then thinking about Michael J. Fox and the Parkinson's Research Foundation, it was a no-brainer to team with Team Fox very early on. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but yeah, back to the conversation that I had with Jess. I was late to the first meeting I was going to have with her. It was like 11 o'clock, like on a Tuesday or something like that. And it was like 20 minutes late. And I was like, oh no, I blew my chance. But we hit it off really well, like 10-15 minute conversation. I just kind of gave her my idea and my vision for, what we could do. And I think it was like 48 hours later, she came up with this, kind of a rough sketch of the McFly, and then, yeah, she just ran with it, and she'll talk more about all the traits and the Easter eggs and things like that in the 80s and 90s nostalgia that's associated with it. But yeah, I mean, I've just been blown away by her artwork, and then Ross's, leadership and ability to command Twitter Spaces and to keep pushing this project. It's, I would not have been able to get through this without these two, and I'm super grateful for meeting them. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. And it's crazy. You're getting into crypto in January to try and navigate the downfall or the fall of the stock market. I'm guessing, hopefully that worked out for you.
It has not yet. I've made a significant number of investments in NFTs and crypto and things like that. But yeah, I'm still hopeful for the future with not just with this project, but with Web3, the Web3 ethos in general. Yeah.
Yeah. And, just one thing you have to look forward to is that this is not the first time this has happened. There are different catalysts that have taken place that are pulling that market down on this occasion, but there were different catalysts in the previous ones. So it will return. It's just a matter of when. And, I've been shouting that from like the mountaintops, just, it's going to come back. Don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen. And, that's when you'll start seeing people popping up as instant millionaires, but really they're not. They've just been enduring that bear market. Right. Yeah, but no, I'm with you, man. My stock portfolio isn't looking pretty either. So I feel you there. So great. You guys like kind of all got together and found each other through Web3 and decided to create an NFT project, and Jess being the artistic mind behind this, and amazing tattoo artist as it seems, tell us a little bit about how that kind of got started and why you decided to, well, you did kind of touch on why you wanted to go into the charity that you're doing, but was that like the original goal, or was that just, you guys were chatting and saying, hey, you know what, it'd be really cool if we could help out by doing this?
Yeah, I mean, Parkinson's kind of just naturally happened, I think, just through my story. And then Ross there has his experiences with Alzheimer's with his grandmother. And then Justin's, got little experiences with all these things because that's what he studies. So we just got to talking. I had shared my story about the Parkinson's, and Justin had mentioned, I'm over here like circling his picture with my mouse, like that's going to do something. They were talking about that Funky Flies NFT that he had, that teeny little pair of power laces. And then we're just like, guys, like Back to the Future, like everybody loves Back to the Future. And then it's like Michael J. Fox and he has Parkinson, and it's just like, obviously that's what we have to do. So, and once we started kind of talking about backdrops and the character, and the character was kind of the harder part, I think, because we didn't just want to do a person. And it's like, well, Funky Flies, they did the flies, and then they have the different variations of the flies. And I mean, everybody was doing kind of these humanoid type things. And it's like, well, why not a humanoid fly? And they're just kind of talking, bouncing ideas back and forth. And I laugh about this now, but at the time, like, we're talking about this like chonky fly who's I don't know, some middle-aged nerd fly who's like kind of just got this big belly. And like, for some reason, Biggie Smalls was always coming to mind when I'm thinking of like just the face and like the squishy lips and whatever I wanted him to look like. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to model him after Biggie Smalls for no other reason besides there he is, Biggie Smalls. And I am impressed with myself because I had looked at several pictures of him just to kind of get the look. But there was an album cover that our good friend, A Week Late Promos, usually uses on his profile picture on Twitter of Biggie Smalls. And I saw it and I'm like, hold up. Like, put them side by side. I'm like, guys, I nailed it. Like, it's the exact same profile. And, from the art standpoint, I don't know how other NFT artists do this, but this is kind of how I made it work for me. I have Procreate on my iPad. So Procreate one of the best things about it is it allows you to split everything into layers. So you just do everything layer by layer, combine what you need to combine, but like each trait is its own separate layer. So all the skins are a layer, the eyes are a layer, the shirts, the items, the backgrounds, everything is a layer. And then when we submitted it to have it generated into the randomized NFTs, I gave them an order in which to pull the files from, like background first, number one, and then the skin, and then this, and then that, and the other thing. And I had to make sure and keep cross-checking everything to make sure that the items didn't overlap funny. But since you have the website up, if you kind of look at his outfits here, where his hand is, the one that's like nearest to the foreground, that's sort of resting on the belly. I'm again trying to point at it with my mouse, like that's gonna
right.
There you go, that one. Yeah. So that every outfit is cut out right there, and pixel by pixel drawn to perfectly fit around that hand, as opposed to the shirt being behind it, if that makes sense, because it wouldn't work to do it that way. But, it was a lot of learning. It was a learning curve for me. Again, this was the first time I'd ever even tried to do this. Looked at a bunch of YouTube videos and just getting ideas of sort of a workflow to follow, which once I found made everything a lot easier, because then I could just kind of follow that same formula for everything. But I mean, some of like this shirt, that poncho he's got on there, that was a 4-hour draw. Those oil slick eyes, probably a 3-hour draw. The body itself was probably 4 to 5 hours. Everything, every layer took a long time. Every pair of shoes was like 4 hours, 5 hours. And I think some people, while appreciative of it, I think they were kind of scratching their heads like, why? For it being a charity project, right? And as of right now, that is the utility. The charity is the utility. And we do, by the way, have the approved 501c3 status through the state of Delaware, where we are registered. So the 65% of the mint price, which is set at 0.07 ETH, that 65% is tax write-offable, depending on where you live and under your own tax laws. But that is the charity. That's the utility. So people are like, well, if that's the only real utility, like, just why is it so detailed? Like, why did you put so much work into essentially a fancy looking sticker receipt for a charity donation? And I guess my idea or my want for this was, it's not just a cute little sticker that I give you for saying, hey, thanks for your donation. Like, I wanted you to have something you'd really love to have, like something really dynamic and cool to look at. It's got all these fun details and Easter eggs in it. And I did it in as high 4K, whatever, HD, something, so that you can blow this thing up pretty large. I mean, I printed it up at a 16 by 20 and then again at an 18 by 24 inch poster, and you don't lose any of the detail. It's all like super crisp and clear. So, it was a lot of fun. It just, you can't really see it in these photos, but if you, were to pull these up on OpenSea and zoom in, the poncho has the texture of the weave of the fabric. The jeans, his ripped shorts there, they've got the jeans fabric and the individual little threads of the rips. The shoelaces have that woven texture. You know, everything's got the texture and the stitching. And, you know, this is my contribution. I go all in with these things, sometimes to a fault a little bit. I go a little overboard. People are like, dude, are you done yet? I'm like, no, I have to get the rest of the texture right. And
yes,
I'm
and
going through it with my work right now about a website backdrop. They're like, we didn't really budget 6 months to get this done. And I'm like, well, you asked me, so you're going to get it in 6 months.
Nice. And, you know, the people asking why all the detail for a charity project. And I think Justin said it best. He came to Web3 to look for another avenue for investing. And, you know, he probably because he heard of some remarkable story or something. I don't know what it may be. And Justin, you might be able to fill us in on what that was that brought you to this space in January. But, you know, most people, when they think about NFTs, they want something to wow them, you know, and for a lot of projects, all you're getting is really a JPEG, right? Well, here you're not only getting the JPEG, but you're getting the opportunity to help out a good cause. And, you know, I think that's fantastic. And the fact that you took the time and effort to put in every little stitch in the jeans and the, you know, the threads and the tears and whatnot. I mean, that's just being an artist, right? And that's what we do, right? But I mean, you know, looking in from the outside, let's say, and let's call Justin out because I brought him up before. What did you know about NFTs in January?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I guess it was a lot of like Gary V-isms and you know, YouTube videos and Instagram posts from him, and then just kind of like, you know, taking the ethos of do your own research, you know, and you know, listening to him, I learned very early on about a lot of the scams and a lot of the issues that people can face. And so I really wanted to take my time and learn about the whole process of Web3 of creating you know, a MetaMask wallet and how to mint properly and that sort of thing. And I was very fortunate to connect with a number of great communities very, very early on. The Grandpa Apes Country Club, as well as Apes Together Strong. I connected with both of them very early on, including the founders, and just found that great sense of community. And then as well as the Crypto Skulls, you know, they're a very tight community as well. And then, you know, fast forwarding, I ended up buying a VF2 this past fall. But yeah, I was a little late to the party with a lot of the bigger blue chip projects, but I'm connected to a couple of them in that sense. But yeah, again, for me, it was, you know, that sense of community within those NFT projects, but then, you know, navigating my own way around and connecting with Ross as well as Jess, and, you know, what we've been able to accomplish. It's just been surreal.
Absolutely.
And
so,
very, you know, and going back, you know, I was all in back last spring, and I'm still all in with NFTs and what we're trying to accomplish. But I went to Miami NFT, I went to NFT NYC, and I went to VCon all this past year. And I'll be speaking this year at NFT NYC coming up in April. And I'll be talking about NFTs for a good cause. So it'll be like a kind of a panel of different like-minded individuals like myself. So it's going to be exciting. And 2023, I think, is going to be the year for McFly's for sure.
absolutely. Russ, how about you? What were your thoughts on NFTs, or what drew you to NFTs prior to launching your own project?
So the thing with me, the aspect of non-fungibility, whether it's in digital form or in physical form, is something that I've always kind of admired because I'm a collector of different things in and of itself. And the thing about NFTs is you can not only collect them, but you can also utilize them for a plethora of different things. In our case, we're using them as a special or a unique receipt for a donation that you can keep and later on sell if you so please. But there's varying different things that you can use NFTs for, such as you could create a deed for your house as an NFT and store it in cold storage and never have it moved. You can do identification documents. Obviously there's going to be better chains and things like that to utilize that type of token on, but there's just so many things that you can use NFTs for. And to have something that is inherently unique be used for more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things is very valuable in my opinion. And we're only in the beginning stages of it. Right now we're in the phase 1, 1.5 collectors type phase. Then we start to realize, okay, well, we can use this in a manner of different ways. And I think right now the transition that we're seeing, where communities are rallying behind, certain projects and certain visions, I think we're going to be really on the cusp of something amazing coming up soon.
Yep.
Just as a whole, as a community. And once we realize that we determine the future, then we'll really start to see some things happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there is so much potential in Web3 for NFTs as well as crypto. And I was at NFT NYC last year as well. Can't believe I didn't see you. There's like only 15,000 people there, right? But it was amazing because at that point in time, people were just scared of the way the market was going, and being there and present just proves how alive it is, right? Because I was just pumped the whole time. There was so much going on, so many different projects with so many different use cases, and just things they were working on was absolutely incredible. And we've actually have had a few people on our spaces from NFT NYC. Metatope was one of them. I'm sure, Justin, you remember their stand that they had where it simulated everything you were doing. That was pretty cool. But the thing is, we're so early, and there's so much potential that we're tipping the edge of the iceberg, right? There's so much more underneath that we haven't touched, and that's awesome. But I do have to give you props, Jess. These things are pretty awesome. I'm digging the flies. So tell us a little bit about how your launch has gone. You have 4,122 NFTs. Are they randomly generated, or were they pre-assembled and then, put into mint?
We launched it, I think it was June 29th last. Yep. Yeah. We did have a pre-sale. I think it lasted 6 hours or so, and then we did the public mint. And we worked through WinMint. That was our launch pad. That team has been actually really, really helpful for us. And they are randomly generated. So these weren't curated ahead of time. There are some, I think there were 19 or 20 that I did put together ahead of time. We kind of wanted to make a few extra special one-of-ones. We call them our OGs, but people that helped us along the way. They either donated, because it costs money. Even WinMint costs at least in Ethereum, 1 to 2 Ethereum to get up and running with them. And, you know, we didn't have that on hand, but we had some really great friends that loved what our idea was and wanted to help. So, you know, we made a special one for them. And I selfishly took that opportunity to incorporate some of my favorite stuff from the 90s, because I'm a 90s kid. Mm-hmm. So some of my favorite toys, whatever was like super trendy at the time. So there's one has a starter jacket in the color of the Beavers, which was the team, the gold and blue, the team from Teen Wolf. His basketball team was called the Beavers. There's some little Gigapets, little Tamagotchi things in there. There's a nod to Biggie Smalls, one of his album covers with the crown and the chain. That's in there, and a Skip It, and, you know, the clear phone, and, you know, it's just having some fun, giving him some other items. Which in these photos, you don't actually, when we submitted for this particular website setup, none of the items are shown in these photos.
Right.
So those items, the regular set of items, are kind of nods to some of Michael J. Fox's other more popular movies. So there's a little tattoo for Atlantis. He played the lead role in the movie Atlantis, the Disney movie. Doc Hollywood is in there. Stuart Little is in there. That's what the little white mouse is for. Teen Wolf has a basketball. And one that isn't super apparent, and it's actually, I think it's a fairly rare trait to get, is there's a number 17 that might show up on his forehead for The Frighteners. That's kind of one of those other cult classic movies that you either know about it or you don't, and if you do, you love it. But we were just having a ton of fun with that.
Yeah, no bowling ball? What?
No.
He was in a movie, wasn't it called Greedy? I think.
Listen, there were so many. We're like, guys, okay, stop. Like, too many. I have too many traits to draw as it is.
Come on, you're slacking.
I know. But we're up to, so of the 4,122, I'd have to check again, but I think we're up to about, what is it, like 205? Ross is going to look it up. So, I mean, it has been a little slower than I think we would like. But again, it was the bear market. We knew that this could happen and probably would be the likelihood. And we had talked about it. You know, do we want to try to wait? I think Ethereum was running around the 12 to 1,300 mark, I think, at the time. Maybe it was more. I forget now. Gosh, it was a minute ago. But I mean, it was down.
207.
207. I was close. Okay. So, you know, we're talking about it. There's all this speculation and talk in the market about like where it's likely going to head. And it's like, well, why would we wait? If we're trying to make a lot of money, we would want to wait until we're on an uptrend in the bull market. But you know, we're not here for that. We're here for the charity piece. So if it takes 3 months to mint out, or if it takes 3 years, do we care? Because Team Fox doesn't care if they get it now or then. And we just felt like, why not start this in a bear market? And I'm glad that we did. You learn a lot in this market. You do. And yeah, it's a different market, you know, different community that sticks around. You don't have to, you know, it's totally different than what it was before everything started to go red, right? But on the upsides here, you had a goal of $10,000 that you wanted to raise, and you did it. So that's pretty exciting, right? Tell us why the goal was set at 10,000, and, you know, was it just from minting that you were able to hit that, or was that just from side donations? Well, I'll let Ross, you know, the kind of the thick of that, if you want to explain that one.
I want to pop up, you know, I had a week late is in our chat, and every time I pop it up, it covers Ross's face. So I'll pop it up again real quick. but now you can't see Ross. Anyway.
Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
okay. So I think 10,000 was the baseline that we wanted to establish, because the first 10,000 is typically the hardest to get to, in a lot of these fundraising goals. And you move the goalposts as things go on from that nature, but it's actually, it hasn't been updated. There was another $5,000 anonymous donation through our fundraising page that we have set up. And that was something that we had wanted to establish as well alongside the project, because we know that some people are off put by crypto and NFTs. So we wanted to show people that we're not just trying to use NFTs to help the cause for Parkinson's. We wanted people to know that this is our vision, is to help find new revenue streams for Parkinson's research, whether it's through our NFT project or through just our community that we've gathered together through the project. And yeah, you got it on the screen right there. That's our affiliate link. And that's something that we wanted to do to help establish a more trustworthy sense, and showing that we have other means for people to donate to the cause. But for the Web3 native people, we have the NFT collection. So right there under recent donations where it says Brandon Hutton, that was donated through another Web3 project that we were associated with. And that was actually from our minting proceeds. So that amount right there was 65% of what we had raised through the mint at that point. Since then, we've had about 50 or 60 more mints. So we're trying to get to a good goal set to make an additional donation. But yeah, and the other $5,000 was donated via Twitter space that we were attending. It was Ape Spaces, and they had another project inside of the space at the time. And once we talked about the project, they chimed in and said, "Hey, this is kind of perfect because I was looking for a charity to donate to from our project." And we gave him the affiliate link, and he made the donation. So that was an awesome moment, to just be in a Twitter space and just be blindsided by somebody who said, "Hey, I'm going to donate $5,000 to the charitable cause that you guys are representing." So that was definitely awesome. Like it was,
Yeah.
It left me speechless, to be honest. Like I didn't even know what to say.
No, that it is incredible. And I think personally, I find a lot of value in donating to charities. I think the project that I had on my spaces last week, who's in the chat tonight, awesome project. They're more on a local basis, but they also are a 501c3. I think we all see the same potential. There is such an opportunity, and there's the money available in Web3 to be able to help better the world that we live in, whether it's for Parkinson's or it's for local community like Chronos Balls. It's just, I feel passionate that we can give back. We can help better someone else's life. We can help further research for coming up with a cure, or even easing the ailments, right? And I think this just all the projects that you've seen in this space that were here during the bull run that were claiming to be charity projects that have just disappeared into thin air, and then you have projects like McFly's that launched in the bear market. You guys are working through the bear market. You guys are pressing to continue your effort. I find a lot of value in that, and there's a lot to be proud of there. So, I give you guys props.
And real quick, I just, if you don't mind, I just want to kind of piggyback off of that for a second. One of the comments that we tend to get a lot of from people that are kind of on the outside, not necessarily from the community, is, well, 65%. Well, at that point, why not 100%? Why are you guys taking any cut? And I mean, it's a valid question, but it is, I feel like with charity NFT projects, one of the bigger hurdles is that there is no right answer as far as like how much is an appropriate amount to give to the charity. I think because we put further utilities on the back burner, it is not something we've written off. I mean, we definitely want to put more utilities in it, but there has to be money in order to do that. So the 65%, then 10% goes to WinMint. We get the remaining 25%. And all that's just going into a team wallet. And we're constantly having discussions about what further utilities can we offer with this. So I see a comment in the thing, how much for NFTs and is there staking? Chip there asked that question. And Chip, those are 0.07 Ethereum. And as of right now, there is not staking, but we have been talking a lot about that. So that is one of the reasons, we can't have 100% go to the charity. We need to have that little bit of money to start building up so that we can offer these other utilities. The benefit, though, with it being the higher percentage and not having other utilities aside from the tax write-offs and the charity piece, is that the people that follow us right now, our community that we've built, while still comparably small to some others, they are here because of the charity. They don't care about making money. They don't care about really staking or flipping it or even necessarily trying to sell it for profit on the secondary market. And I mean, those are kind of the people that we want to have in our community. It's not that we don't want to make some money. Of course, we've got families, we've got full-time jobs. Of course, some extra money would be great, but that was never part of the forefront. Once we get to a point where we've kind of leveled out and we've got a little money in the bank, we can afford to explore some other utilities. So now other people who've been holding these for a while can try to make some money off of it. That was another reason when I was drawing these, was paying a lot of attention to detail, was because eventually, ideally on a secondary market, I want to create art that people get excited about with the different traits from the nostalgia factor. Maybe that makes a difference. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. People trade all kinds of stuff. So it be what it be. But yeah, that was just something I wanted to kind of touch on. Some people love that we give 65% and other people are just like, well, that's not enough. Then you might as well give 100. And, a charity project's a charity project. If they're only doing, 10% or 5% or 20% to a charity, but they're keeping the rest and building up for sustainability so their holders can make some money, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's still 10% more that charity wouldn't have had otherwise. Ours happens to be more focused on the donation piece for right now, and we intend to keep it that way. I don't think we have any plans whatsoever to change that percentage. Certainly not lower, if anything, hopefully higher at some point. But
yeah, and you're preaching to the choir. I realized early on with HEROS that we initially launched as a meme token that benefited charity. All right. So we didn't even take it to the level that you guys are at, where it's a 501(c), but that was never the goal when we started. The goal was to build a project that people could trust, with transparent devs that shared what we were doing. But we learned very early on that you needed to add more in order to sustain it. You need to add some, just overall utility. And, to keep some aside, especially because you are listed as a 501(c)(3, the issue that you have is you are limited to only being able to, I think you're withholding the absolute maximum you're allowed to maintain that status. Is that correct? At the moment, right? With giving the 65% to charity, 35% is the maximum that the organization can actually keep to operate or for operations overall. And, with that, anybody who's looking at this project and saying, okay, I'm going to buy in because I believe in what you guys are doing. I believe that it's great to donate to this cause. They're going to have this NFT sitting in their wallet. And in order to mint out, you got a long ways to go. But, adding utility to that might not be a bad idea. And the only way you can do that is to have the funds to develop it, right? And if you don't have those funds, then essentially it is just charity. And then you have people that could say, hey, why not donate all of it? Well, if you donate all of it, then, your times are pretty much donated, because I'm sure, it took you hours upon hours. I forget. I think you did say how many hours it took you to put all those together, those NFTs. And, so that is all donated time. All the time Justin and Ross has put in is all donated time. And it is at this point, right? But you guys are looking at alternatives to benefit the people that are buying. You guys are adding utility at some point down the road. You're at least thinking about it. And that is what makes for a good project, is you're not ending it with buy the NFT, portion of it goes to charity, and then, that's it. You guys are looking at opportunities to expand and grow and get that $10,000 up to 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, right? I mean, that's the goal, is to be able to bring more and give more to the cause. Am I right there? I mean, anyone can chime in here.
Yeah, no, I mean, you nailed it.
Right.
I mean, staking is one we've talked a lot about staking, but you have to fund a pool for that.
Yep.
That takes money. We're trying to look outside the box a bit too. Like, I think a lot of people kind of, when they say utility, they say, how's this going to make me money? To them, that's utility. But we're kind of trying to branch outside of the Web3 space as we know it now, and the same folks that are in it. What can we, how can we utilize hospitals? How can we utilize certain therapy for Parkinson's patients? Like, there can be totally outside the space utilities that these can be used for, that other charitable donation or foundations would probably be more than happy to work with us and create these things. Certain organizations might donate merch, or they might donate an hour of therapy, like whatever it could be. It doesn't necessarily have to just be money driven. So
Yep.
Those are talks that we're trying to have all the time.
Yeah, definitely. If I could chime in real quick, there was one particular thing that I was actually looking into, because I'm a very, just like Justin, how he's very research oriented. I also love to do some research of my own, and I've stumbled upon a what they call a TRD, which stands for a tremor reduction device. And it's a wearable device, or it can actually be placed in the spine as well. Yep. Depending on the nature of the tremors. And I'm thinking that one particular manufacturer has had it approved by the FDA and is actually in trials. There's actually a hospital close to me. It's actually the hospital that I had my lumbar surgery at. There was a neurologist, I believe, over there. There's a YouTube video in our Discord channel that shows it, where the doctor programs and activates this device, and the patient is visibly shaking. Mm-hmm. And when he activates the device, it calms his nerves, and he's like, you could see minimal shaking, but it almost neutralized it completely.
Wow. And
those are, as a NFT project and a project, that isn't actual diagnostic doctors, in a sense, to where we can't actually, offer medical advice or nothing like that, but we can point people in the right direction to find the information that it could possibly benefit them or their family members or anyone who's affected by the disease. And that's kind of what we use our Discord for, aside from, communicating with the community. We use it as a information repository to kind of catalog the different things that we've found. And there are different members of our community who caregive for family members that have Parkinson's. And we leave the community chats open to anyone who's affected. So that way, if they need somebody to talk to or anything of that nature about their daily lives, that they can let us know what is it that you would like to see, what ailments or successes that you've had with anything. We want the community to be able to share that with each other, so that, it's crowdsourced information to where, what's helped you may help the next person. What you found to struggle from, someone may have an answer for it. So that's part of another utility that we do have, is being a tight-knit community. Because we all have open ears to listen. I can speak for myself and, Jessica and Justin when I say that we're all very understanding people, and we are very good conversationalists. And you've been in our spaces before. We're very down to earth. We, get to know the people that come into our spaces, and we try to create a comfortable environment for people, and it's part of the reason, we hold those spaces, is to lend out a welcoming arm to people as well.
Yep. And I think everybody in this space almost has to be on that social level, right? If you look at crypto in general, or even NFTs, let's say your collection minted out and now you're trying to maintain a floor price. It's really no different than a publicly traded company. The only difference here is your community has access to the CEOs, right? So you have to be personable. You have to be able to respond to them and talk to them. And I appreciate that. I mean, I've never dropped into any one of your spaces and, felt like, oh boy, these guys are full of themselves, right? Never once, right? So, I know you guys hold spaces on a regular basis. I missed this week's, but I try to catch it. I just have been sidetracked with personal things and, other endeavors that I'm working on. But, I definitely will be attending in the future. But with that being said, let's do this. Let's go back to your website. Everybody who is in this space, please take a look at McFly's website, www.mcflysnft.com. On their website, they do have links. I saw it to right here to their Discord and their Twitter. So everyone should be at least looking into them. That's why we do these spaces. We do it to, bring other projects to the forefront, to give you things to look at. The advantage here is if you need a tax break, they are a 501c3, which means that this is a tax write-off if you buy. So at the end of the year, you could write this NFT off, which is a big bonus. So take a look at their Discord, their Twitter, check out their website, ask them questions, please. By all means, anybody in this space, ask questions. What is the mint price and what chain? And you guys did answer this, and we're covering Ross's face, but it is 0.07 Ethereum, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
And it's on the Ethereum blockchain.
Right. Yeah. So, that is the whole point of us doing these broadcasts, doing our Twitter spaces, is not to show you a project. It is to bring awareness to a project that you can go and look into for your own purposes to see if you find value in it. And that is our goal, is to find these solid people to bring on and share with you. Yeah, no worries. He says thank you. But yeah, the bottom line is, that is the point of this. So I think the artwork is pretty freaking awesome. I love everything that Jess has created. I love the purpose and the point that you guys are trying to do. I love the fact that you are open to adding utility down the road, whatever that may be. So that is all awesome stuff. Any comments or anything we didn't cover here? I think I did miss this one, which is an important one. It's where you go to mint.
I was just about to say.
I mean, this is pretty vital, right? This is the one that we want to make sure that we highlight, that if you ever want to mint a McFly, they have that link right on their website as well, right here. And that takes you here, and you just connect your wallet. Make sure after you do mint, you disconnect your wallet from anything that you connect to. But go ahead, Ross.
Oh, yeah, you covered what I was about to say. There was a button on the main web page to take to the minting form. But just something else too, just so people know, is we used WinMint for a launchpad. We have covered that. So the smart contract has been audited. And also we've been verified by the Blocks DAO, which if you haven't heard of them, they're a really awesome group of people, really awesome community. They came in droves in our Twitter space whenever we announced the partnership with them. Super supportive, really awesome crowd. And one thing that they offer is they verify NFT collections independently. So our collection is recognized on their socials, which they have a social media called Humble. So our collection is independently verified, and whenever we do decide to do merchandise, it'll also be verified through them as well.
Nice. Yep.
And also Team Fox. We have been recognized and have been pretty much since the get-go, but we are in regular communication with them. They've already put us on their Twitter, on the Team Fox Twitter page. I think they've said we are their official NFT project. Nice. So if there's any questions about does this foundation even know you exist? Yes, they do. And they've been great to us too.
Nice.
And awesome. The networking event too.
Yeah.
Since our project has contributed to over 10,000 in donations to the foundation, we've been gifted 2 tickets to attend the annual donors networking event. So it's an event where the donors gather to network with each other and get to know each other for their individual fundraising causes. So it will be a chance for us to expand our reach a little bit out into the I guess you would call it a Web2 crowd, but I don't really think that would be a proper title for it. But it'll be less social media integrated. But yeah, it'll give us a chance, and I'll be able to use that apparition card that you happily gifted me.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I have not shared that with anybody yet because I was waiting for you to get it and say, yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah, here, I got it right here. Keep it with me. I was able to go home and actually get the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm a traveling road technician, I don't get much time home.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pop this off. There you go. Look at that. Sweet.
Oh, looks so good.
Did you test it?
I did.
Yeah?
It works.
Nice.
It's really clean. I love it.
Awesome.
It came out really well.
Yeah.
The beauty of that, and just the having the PFP on your own social media. I have my PFP on Facebook and Instagram, and it's just a great conversation starter for people that aren't in Web3 or don't know anything about it. Everyone knows Back to the Future, and you can kind of see it through Jess's artwork, especially with the ones that I represent. But yeah, it's the more tangible items you can have that you can share and let people scan. It's a great idea, and yeah, I know Ross is super appreciative of that gift.
Yeah. Well, it's also for a good cause, right? You're going to network with other people that have the same mindset as you, that might find value in saying that, okay, well, maybe instead of just throwing the money in, maybe I'll get something digital also. And, being able to give them all that information just by tapping their phone against it is awesome, right? Because, I mean, I've been in, lots of different avenues of business, and 90% of the time that business card after you leave goes in the garbage, right? Or drops on the ground or whatever. Here, they're actually putting it on their device. You're seeing them put it on their device, and it's up to them if they want to click on it again. But at least it always stays with them, right? Well, it doesn't always, but it can if they save you to their contacts. No, man, I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah. So next up is that's coming up in April, and then NFT NYC's the end of April, right? The 22nd, I think. And you're going to that, Justin, right?
Yep, I'll be there. I'm not sure if my colleagues will be able to make it, but yeah, I'll be there for sure, talking about NFTs for a good cause for sure on that panel.
Nice. Awesome. If I make it to New York this year, I will definitely look you up. We'll hang out.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. So did we miss anything? Is there anything that we may have overlooked that we didn't cover here?
To be honest, there's probably a lot, but I think we dealt
Covered
the most
basis.
pertinent information.
Yeah, maybe just highlighting too that I think one of the biggest things, and I'll highlight it at NFT NYC, is partnering with Team Fox early on, even before we had the name of the project, because I actually had a different name in mind for the project, and they were like, "Whoa, no, don't use that one because it sounds like Michael J. Fox or MJF. Use, do something else." And they were like, "Yeah, that's great." So just bouncing ideas off them early on was very helpful, for me, in terms of like where we're going to go strategy wise, in terms of the direction of the project and how we're going to collaborate with them. Whereas maybe other projects that have their own ideas, and then maybe they're going to donate after the fact. I think if you have any inclination of donating to charity, it's best to partner with them early and often.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Chronoballs is asking, is anyone going to NFT Miami in March?
I'm not going to make it this year. I'm sorry.
I'm guessing by Justin's face, she's not going to make it either.
I really want to go to Miami.
Especially in March, right?
Especially in March. I'm salty about all these things that I can't go to.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun last year, and yeah, I wish I could do it again this year, but yeah, I just don't have the means to do it right now. Luckily for me, New York City is a quick drive up the coast there, but Miami is a little bit more of a hike.
More of a dip. Yep.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah. I'm based out of Pennsylvania. So New York is a quick train ride to get to, but Miami's a different story. So
yeah, I'm pretty close to Miami compared to you guys, but I still won't be able to make it because my work is very demanding outside of Web3 as well.
Yeah.
So I have a true balancing act. I actually, the last 2-week cycle, I had over 165 hours on my check. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're crazy, Ross. I don't know how you do it. I would say that to every time we talk about it, but it blows my mind how hard of work you are. And yeah, just kudos to you for that.
Just as a quick tidbit, I work in the oil and gas industry. So I also, whenever I get off from that, I go straight into Web3 and the NFT project. So there's never a dull moment or never a down moment for me. So
I'm sure it's well over 200 hours if you combine the two.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm
Easy.
hopeful by this time next year, we'll have gotten our bull run back and we'll be in a little bit of a different place. I'll be in a spot where I can, because I'm a tattoo artist, and I'm booked out 3 to 4 months at a time. So if dates come up that I've already got scheduled off, I can't change that, because getting those people rescheduled is an absolute headache. But if I have some of my investments do a little bit better and we're just looking good all around, I can afford to schedule more time off for myself for these types of things. So maybe, this time next year, when the next round of the Team Fox networking event happens, and then NYC or NFT NYC happens again, or even Miami. I mean, I've never been to a convention. I would love to go, but it's just really comes down to the cost and taking that time off to go do it. So,
Yep. And it is, once you've gone, and I'm sure Justin can add to this, but once you've been there, you want to go back. It's like you just don't want it to end, because it's so much going on. Just the inspiration of being there was amazing for me. And that's actually, the Apparition project. That's where I test marketed it, was at NFT NYC. It was kind of crazy, because I was going around and just using our tags, and which amazed me that a booth did not have any business cards or anything to hand out. But I came across a few of them, and I'm like, oh, here. And, I hooked them up and programmed their card for them and said, here, just use this, share your project. But it was absolutely awesome. And we had talked about possibly having a booth this year, but, with the way the market has gone, I don't think that's going to happen this year. But, we have other things in the work for a conference coming up in for possibly June, and then another one later in the year. So, stay tuned for that. But why don't we go around the room? We'll get oh, did you want to say something?
No, I was just saying that's awesome. Yeah. That sounds good.
All right. Well, let's go around the room. We'll get some closing statements here, and then I'll finish it up here, and we'll call it a night. How's that sound? All right. Who wants to start?
all right, well, I'll be first in, first out. So
There you go.
I really appreciate you doing this with us. I mean, this has kind of become our bread and butter a little bit. We really enjoy spending just in close spaces like this, really personal spaces where we get to have actual conversations, and you have a little more time than just, 3.5 minutes to try to shill your project in front of 500 people. Our Monday night spaces on Twitter, we always have a blast. I think right before we do it, because it is late and, we all have to get up early, but we're just like, Twitter space tonight, like, dang it. And then we get into the room and we're just like, yes, okay. I mean, this is what we needed. Ross had commented last week that was sort of his social outlet, because he's been working so much. And I know after every space, I feel a little more energized again. I get to funk sometimes, just with projects being a certain way, with my own life being a certain way. And this project in the community that we're building has really kind of become my vacation spot on Web3. And, we really love the people that we've got on, and they've been here with us since the get-go. I mean, Fen Promos, Week Late Podcast, Unique Soul. We've got some people that you don't have to ask them to do anything. They're out there hustling for us without ever expecting anything in return, because they just love what we're doing and they want to support us, and we love them for loving us. And if we can get some more, awesome.
Yep.
In the meantime, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep working. If it's slow, it's slow. And we're okay with that. And I think most of our people are okay with that too, because the end goal is the real reason for doing what we're doing. And, here we are almost a year later, and I feel like we're still just kind of kicking off. I think this next coming year is going to be pretty exciting for us. Get some more mints. And if we're being honest, in a bear market, there's not a lot of profits to go around right now. So, we knew that was going to mean minting was going to be slow. Chances are once the bull market returns, people got some money they need to offset. We're going to see some more mints, and hopefully that happens. And I would love to see our community grow even more. In the meantime, we're just having a blast getting to know the ones we've got. So I appreciate everybody for coming in and listening. I see Chronoballs down there. I see you. He's great. We just met him. What was that? 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago? We met him. He came on Twitter Space.
Yeah, something like that.
He's got an amazing thing going too, and we hit it off. I feel like so.
Yep.
Hey, buddy, I see you. Anyway, I'll stop talking. Thank you so much, Scott, for having us here.
Of course. Ross?
Yeah, I'll go ahead next. I totally know what you mean. I've missed the last few Twitter Spaces, and every week I'm like, no, I need that re-energy. I need that extra to go through. And yeah, it's always like depressing when I have to miss it. Work life and that sort of thing. It kind of gets in the way sometimes, but yeah, super grateful, and thank you for having us on tonight. Definitely re-energizes, reinvigorates me, and I'm super excited for NFT NYC and kind of carrying the momentum that we have now, carrying it forward to that, and seeing what the rest of 2023 has for us. And yeah.
Awesome. Ross, how about you?
Well, I definitely appreciate this live stream and the shout outs that you've given us, and just all the help that you extended outwards towards us. It's greatly appreciated, and it's part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing. And we always talk about serendipity, and things happen for a reason. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it fell pretty quickly, but it wasn't built in a day. But bad analogy there. But great things take time, and the fact that we're patient about it, and we understand kind of how people feel, because we've been in that position before as well. When we're in projects, we know not things do not happen overnight. As long as the founders and the creators are there, and they're expressing their building mentality, and they're expressing their future plans, it really is just one of those things that you just have to have a little bit of faith. And I'm never leaving. Like, I've found my home in Web3. I found my community and the people that I love in this space. They'll forever be my family. And I'm one of those kind of people that, you give what you get. And the things that I've been getting, I give back tenfold. But the project, we'll be here until it mints out, and we'll be here and even after supporting the project. But just as a little tidbit, our secondary royalties, people who purchase McFly's on secondary market, 50% of the royalties that we receive will be donated to the foundation ad infinitum. So, and that's, Latin for infinity, if anybody didn't know that.
Yep.
So as long as we still have internet and crypto, the foundation will be receiving donations. So we wanted to set that up through the business model to help accommodate, for the future after it's been minted out. And if it happens to sell for 100 ETH at some point,
yep,
our royalties are set at 7.5%. So 3.25 ETH will go to the foundation from that sale. So
yeah. Awesome. Ongoing utility. It never ends. So it doesn't end with the initial mint. I love that. Yeah. And, Jess, you and Justin kind of hit it on the head. I will come home like tomorrow night. We have a space on Twitter, and I will be like not in the mood until I actually get into it and then start going. And then it's like, you know, that was awesome. I'm glad I did that. Right. But there's so many times that, you know, life gets me down or I'm just having a bad day and I just don't want to get on and do it, but I force myself to because I plan it. Right. So, you know, you just got to get on and do it and push through it. And you guys are doing an awesome job. I want to give you guys kudos. I also want to send a shout out to everybody who watches this to go to our website, hero-universe.com, join our Telegram, jump into or ask about the suggestion chat, and go in there and make your suggestion for our next charity poll. And McFly's is on there for the Michael J. Fox donation or for a donation. And the way that works is every so often we open up that poll, community puts in their suggestions. And when we get to 10, it goes to our Telegram chat. Top 4 go to Twitter, and the winner there gets the donation. So I would love to see McFly's get it. You guys are already on the poll. We just need to fill that poll up. So everybody, please go make a suggestion for where you'd like to see us donate to next. And I'm hoping that we get the chance to donate to McFly's. That'd be awesome. But with that, I appreciate you guys all for joining us. I love your project. I love what you guys are doing. I love your spaces. And yes, I love the fact that you guys are all down to earth. It makes it so much easier, right? And yeah, anything you guys ever need or you know, have a question or whatever, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always trying to make myself as available as possible. I'm pulled in 10 different directions at once, but I try to make myself as available as possible, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, with that, I mean, thank you all for coming, and I'm going to call it a night.
All right.
All
Again,
right.
thank you so much for having us, Scott. This
Absolutely.
has been really
Appreciate you.
Yes, appreciate you guys too. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You too.